Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 50 Shades of Tay. I'm Taylor Gonzalez, and my guest today is the best-selling author of William Shakespeare's Star Wars series, and his latest entry, The Mandalorian of Nevarro, is out now. I am so excited to be joined by author Ian Doescher. Ian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Taylor.
Oh, well, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it, and I am so excited to talk all things Star Wars with you today.
Absolutely.
Before we get into your book series, I actually wanted to ask, what was your introduction to Star Wars?
So it's really almost before I have memories. I remember going to see Return of the Jedi in the theater when I was 6 years old. But I think my parents were into Star Wars before that. And, growing up, we had the VHS tapes and had a VHS tape of the making of Star Wars and things like that. And of course, we had the action figures and things like that. So it was just kind of in the air as I was growing up. Really, Star Wars and Star Trek in my family equally.
Oh, that's awesome. My first memory of Star Wars was watching it at home on Laserdisc. And for people who don't know what a Laserdisc is, because I don't think they exist anymore, it was pretty much looking like a vinyl record, maybe a little bit bigger. And if the movie was long, it would be two, sometimes three to four discs. And what was funny was you would have to flip it over when it got to a certain point in the film. And as a kid, I didn't really understand like side A, side B, disc one, all that kind of stuff. So sometimes the Death Star would be intact and sometimes it wouldn't. And sometimes I wouldn't really watch it in the exact correct order. But I just remember Star Wars fascinated me as a kid. And now, all these years later, it's still one of my favorite things to read about, to play video games with, and to watch all the movies and TV shows too.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's great.
One of the amazing things about Star Wars is throughout the decades, there have been so many iconic characters. You have people like Luke Skywalker, Boba Fett, newer characters like Ahsoka, the Mandalorian. Do you have a favorite Star Wars character?
I mean, Han Solo was always my favorite growing up. Like Harrison Ford sort of embodied what I wanted to be, and was definitely not. But yeah, I'd say Han.
Oh, love Han Solo. Such a great character, and it's just been so fun to watch him throughout the years, especially in the comic books. Like they keep him alive in the comic books lately, and it's just fun to see all these different adventures that we didn't know about from just watching the movies.
Yeah.
So then that brings us to your incredible series where you reimagine Star Wars through the lens of William Shakespeare. I think that's such a cool premise. Where did that idea come from?
It was just sort of by chance. It was back in 2012, and I rewatched the Star Wars trilogy with some good high school buddies of mine. We got together on a Saturday, and we watched the movies, sort of interspersed with some clips from Robot Chicken Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
And then not too long after that, I read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, which is one of the first mashup books that became really popular. And then just after finishing that book, went to the Oregon Shakespeare Festival with my family. I'm in Portland, Oregon, and we went down to the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. And so I sort of attribute it to having Star Wars and mashups and Shakespeare all bouncing around in my head. And it was actually at the festival when I had the idea, like, it would be really fun to take Star Wars and try to rewrite it as though it were a play by Shakespeare.
Oh my gosh, such a cool idea. And you mentioned Robot Chicken. I recently rewatched all of the Robot Chicken specials with Star Wars. The best one is the one where the Emperor is going up the escalator and he says hello to all the stormtroopers and then he's just over it and just starts cussing them out. That one I could watch all day, every day. I think it's so funny.
It's so good. I mean, so many of them are memorable to me. Where the I think Admiral Akbar is having dinner with Mon Mothma, and she orders the calamari, and and he says, "I'll have the insensitive bitch." And
Oh my gosh,
it's so
yes.
funny. Yeah.
And now I got to rewatch them again. Those are just so fun. I don't know if Robot Chicken still exists, but I hope eventually we get another mashup. The other one that's really great too is the Family Guy, like parodies of Star Wars. I think those are so awesome.
And I haven't seen those, so I should check those
Oh,
out. Yeah.
yeah, they did the original trilogy, but now Disney owns Star Wars and they own Family Guy. So I feel like there's a potential for something on Disney Plus where they continue the stories with maybe the prequels or the sequel trilogy. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Totally.
Well, what would you say makes the Star Wars saga like ripe for a William Shakespeare adaptation?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the the elements that the stories have in Star Wars, right? So you've got a lot of drama. You've also got sort of funny things happening on the side often. You've got all these themes that are feel very Shakespearean, like families and fathers and sons and people, young people achieving their destinies and wars and that kind of thing. So there are just lots of elements, and it doesn't surprise me that much, right? I mean, like Joseph Campbell wrote a lot about Shakespeare, and George Lucas looked directly to Joseph Campbell as he was sort of putting Star Wars together, and so I think having that sort of link, it's not too surprising that Star Wars feels very Shakespearean in some ways, and I think that if Shakespeare were alive today, he would be writing things like Star Wars. He'd be
Hmm.
writing the popular entertainment of today.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So far, you've done all nine of the Skywalker films. You now have the newest edition, The Mandalorian of Nevarro. Such a cool book. Ahsoka's on the way. Is there a book out there or a movie out there that you would like to do in the Star Wars universe that hasn't been done yet?
I mean, Rogue One is my great white whale right now. Yeah, so I really love Rogue One as a movie, and I think that would be really fun to do. So maybe one day.
Yes, yes, I would love that. Rogue One is so good, and
It
that'd be
is.
a really, really fun one. And I would love to read that and add it to my collection.
It'd be a perfect sort of Shakespearean tragedy. Everybody dies at the
Yeah, that's true.
end.
That's true. Well, of the books you've written so far, which one was your favorite to adapt?
Yeah, that's kind of a hard question because there are so many things I've enjoyed about so many of them. It's hard to um, it's hard to replace the excitement of the first book, right? Just because this came out of the blue in my life. I hadn't written any books before this, and certainly nothing in the Star Wars or Shakespeare area. And I was really just combining these two things that I have loved forever. And so just the whole excitement of getting to do that and feeling like, okay, I think this is working, and getting good feedback from my publisher and from Lucasfilm was just, it was huge. So that the first is probably still my favorite.
Oh, that's awesome. Which one was the most difficult? Was there one where it was like, oh, it's hard because of either the storyline or the updated like technology? Was there something that was like harder to pull off?
I think some of the issues around the prequels, especially Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, I think that you know we talked. My editor and I talked early on it when we were sort of jumping into the prequels about like are there things that we should be thinking about like changing at all given how some fans feel about some aspects of the prequels, and he finally convinced me like what your books are they are adaptations of the movies, and so we shouldn't change anything. But that said, there were things there are lines in the especially in the prequels, I hate to say, that are sort of notoriously bad, right? And so I think trying to figure out how to update those and be true to the overall storyline and be true to the characters, but also have it feel sort of like it's maybe a little more elevated. I think that was the biggest challenge along the way. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that too. But the it's so interesting. The prequels have aged like fine wine. I'm telling you right now, I've always loved the prequels. I think it's mainly because those are the first ones I got to experience in the movie theater. But now, like the general consensus, I think is like done a complete 180 on from what I remember, when I was in school watching them. I think people look back on them fondly now, and when they do the anniversary re-releases in theaters, people go all dressed up as Darth Maul and Jar Jar Binks. It's cool to see, the public opinion has kind of changed with time, and now they're more beloved, I guess, with the fan
Yeah,
base.
absolutely. And I'll be the first to say that, I love sitting down and watching the prequels, right? Like there's no Star Wars movie out there that I can't sit and enjoy significant portions of, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I 100%. There's every Star Wars movie has at least, something that is incredible to it that I can
Yeah.
revisit over and over. And I'm just really thankful for that.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
The titles of your books have been so fun, including The Force Doth Awaken and Tragedy of the Sith's Revenge. How do you come up with the titles?
I mean, I guess essentially you look at, okay, what's the title of this movie and how can we try to kind of make this fun in a, in a Shakespearean kind of a way. And sometimes it feels kind of obvious and sometimes it doesn't feel obvious at all. I think, I mean, the Phantom Menace, which we sort of change to the Phantom of Menace actually completely changes the meaning of that title.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it still works, but it's like it really does change it some. And so, I think some of them work better than others, and some of them are just fun. I mean, the Merry Rise of Skywalker, right, is just sort of kind of silly and
Mhm.
and fun. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a really fun one too. We can't talk about your book series without talking about the gorgeous illustrations, not only on the covers, but also throughout the books as well. Who does the illustrations for your books?
So I have been so lucky with the illustrators. Both of them have been found by my publishers. So Nicholas Delort was the one who did the illustrations for all of the original nine Skywalker series with Quirk Books, and he's French Canadian and lives in Paris and is just an amazing illustrator. And then Dennis, who has done the illustrations for Mandalorian and for Ahsoka, is also tremendous and has really sort of carried that spirit forward. And what I love about the illustrations is that they really help you imagine like what could this actually look like if this were staged, so in the Mandalorian, for instance, there's a picture of an ATST, but you can tell that it's like on sticks, right? So it's almost like somebody's holding it up and making it move, and I love those aspects of the illustrations, and I think they add so much.
No, they really do, and I love looking at them as I flip through the books. So cool. Earlier, I mentioned the next entry in your series is Ahsoka's Tale. That releases October 20th. What can fans look forward to with that entry into your series?
Yeah, so like with the Mandalorian, it's taking all of the first season of Ahsoka and putting it into a single play. Was it was fun. I leaned into so when in lines, I'll get nerdy here for a second. In lines of iambic pentameter, there's what's sometimes called a weak ending, which is when you have an added 11th syllable at the end of the line, and because of patriarchy, it was sometimes called a feminine ending, right? And but I really sort of leaned into the feminine ending because it's Ahsoka and there are so many strong female characters, and so I would say I used the feminine ending a lot more in writing that than in some of my other books, and purposely, right? And so it was really fun to dive into that series, and get to revisit Anakin Skywalker and things like that. So yeah, hopefully it's more fun, and for people who have been with me through all these books, hopefully still something a little new.
Oh, I can't wait. The cover looks cool. I love Ahsoka so much. She's one of my favorite characters. I have her little Funko right here. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to get that book as well, October 20th. Everyone, be sure to add that to your collection as well. So with The Mandalorian, we just had the movie The Mandalorian and Grogu released in theaters. We have 3 seasons of the show on Disney Plus so far. Do you have a favorite individual story, whether it's the film or a specific episode of The Mandalorian?
I'll say that I in writing the Mandalorian book, I really found a new appreciation for Queel as a character, just because he really is. He's so noble. He's such a strong character, and just such a great example of what it means to be a true friend. And so at least for now, I'll say that's my answer. There's so many fun things within the Mandalorian; it's hard to pick, but definitely found a new love for Queel this time around.
Yeah, I revisited The Mandalorian leading into The Mandalorian and Grogu's release, and I forgot how incredible, especially that first season, seeing everything for the first time, revisiting, the Jawa scene on the Sandcrawler and the
Yeah.
first episode just setting the tone, setting the stage. When The Mandalorian premiered in 2019 on Disney Plus, did you watch it the night it came out like everybody else?
I don't remember if I watched it the actual night it came out, but I watched it. If not, I watched it shortly thereafter. Yeah, I mean, I was on board from the start, and like you know, had that same sort of. I mean, it was just so fun, and it really felt like a different form of Star Wars
Yeah.
than we'd seen before.
Yeah, I remember. So it was 2019. It was a series that launched with Disney Plus. So it was like the first time you could even open Disney Plus. And I remember at like 12:01, everyone was trying to get on Disney Plus. Everyone was texting each other, like, is it working for you? Is it working for you? If you change your country of origin, you can log in early, all these like weird things. And then like it was crashing, crashing. Finally, we got in, and watching that first episode in the middle of the night was so fun. What do you remember went through your mind at the very final scene of episode one when you see Grogu for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, I think like everyone, it was like, whoa, whoa, this is cool. This is something that like, okay, all right, I'm on board. I'm ready. Yeah, and which the Mandalorian, I think, as a series, you know, did at least a few times, right? I mean, of course, there's the moment when Luke Skywalker shows up at the end of season two, right, and we all lost our collective minds, right? So, uh, yeah, I think the show has been good at doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember like I already was really loving the show. I loved the tone. I loved just the character designs, the costuming, the music, everything about it. And then as soon as it showed his little hand reach out, I was like, oh, I need it to be 1 week later. I need to fast forward 1 week in
Yeah,
time. And I just could not believe it. And then now all these years later, we have the movie. Have you had a chance to go experience the movie in theaters yet?
I did. I saw the movie about a week ago. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was fun getting to see it in IMAX. Just the scope and scale, especially the opening like sequence on the snow planet with the walkers, just
Hmm.
seeing those in IMAX. And I think it was the first Star Wars film in like 7 years. It was just so cool to see, Star Wars on the big screen where it belongs for the first time. Very
Yeah, it's
exciting.
always so fun to step back into that galaxy, and like you said, especially in the theater. Yeah.
Yeah, very true. I also know that you do some other stories outside of the Star Wars universe in the Shakespeare kind of lens. What are some of the other books out there that people can look for in this style?
Yeah, so after we finished the prequels, because it was before the sequel series had even come out, Quirk Books, my publisher at the time, suggested that we do a few more, and so we did Back to the Future, we did Mean Girls, and we did Clueless, all in this Shakespearean style.
Those are all such cool ones. Is there something non-Star Wars related that you haven't done yet that you're like, oh, that would be a good one to do in the style of Shakespeare?
Oh, I mean, I'd love to do The Princess Bride. I think would be really fun. I guess all favorite movie of mine, and I think would match the style so well.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Okay. I need that. Now that you've put that out there, I need it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, Ian, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day today to talk all things Shakespeare and Star Wars with me. If people want to follow you and keep up with, the release of Ahsoka and all your other projects you have, where's a good place for people to come and follow you?
Yeah, I've got a website. It's iandescher.com. And I'm on Instagram infrequently, but I'm there. And so, yeah, I'm around and people can contact me either of those places.
Perfect. I'll make sure to put a link in the description of the video. But Ian, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Taylor. You too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.